Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's great to have you here again. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more incredible stories. Today, we've got an exciting tale to share. A story that stretches across decades, holds value beyond what most of us can fathom, and revolves around one seemingly simple coin. It's a story of rare chance, incredible fortune, and a single piece of American history worth more than the average person could ever dream of in their lifetime. We're talking about the 1976 1-cent coin, and how it ended up being worth an eye-popping $999 million. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this unbelievable tale that has captured the attention of numismatists, collectors, and anyone with an interest in the power of rare artifacts. The story of the 1976 1-cent coin begins with what seems like a very typical event in the world of currency. In 1976, the United States Mint issued a special coin to commemorate the nation's bicentennial. The United States had been around for 200 years, and the Mint wanted to celebrate this milestone by producing coins with a design that would reflect the country's rich history. But like so many things in life, what seemed like a simple, ordinary decision at the time would ultimately lead to one of the greatest stories in the history of coin collecting. The 1976 bicentennial coin featured a unique reverse design, showing the Liberty Bell, with a small, stylized depiction of the 13 original colonies' 13 stars. The obverse featured the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, just like the regular 1-cent coin. But what many people don't know is that in this particular minting process, there were a few hiccups along the way, mistakes that would, in the years to come, lead to an absolutely extraordinary discovery. The coin was designed with the hope that it would catch the attention of collectors, but it wasn't seen as anything particularly special at the time. In fact, most of the 1976 bicentennial pennies were produced in high volumes, and the demand for them was very typical of most currency. Thousands of these coins were made and sent to banks across the country, where they circulated in everyday transactions, quietly performing their duty as a part of American commerce. For the average person, these pennies were just another part of life. They were used to buy small items, or perhaps tossed into change jars at the end of a long day. Years passed, and these 1976 pennies continued to circulate. The public seemed to forget about them. It wasn't until decades later that a surprising turn of events would put this specific penny in the spotlight. In the early 2000s, a collector from Florida, who had been searching for rare coins for decades, stumbled upon an unusual 1976 1-cent coin in a box of change. At first glance, it looked just like any other. However, upon further inspection, the collector noticed something very odd about the coin. It wasn't just any 1976 penny. The design was slightly off-center, and there was a faint but noticeable difference in the depth and quality of the engraving. Intrigued, the collector took the coin to a numismatic expert, who quickly realized that this was no ordinary penny. It turned out that this coin had been struck on the wrong type of planchet, meaning it wasn't minted with the proper metal. In fact, the coin had been produced using a copper-nickel planchet that was originally intended for a higher value coin, such as a dime or a quarter. This mistake, known as a minting error, was incredibly rare. It was also incredibly valuable, as no other coin like it had ever been discovered. The numismatist immediately recognized that this rare error could be worth millions of dollars. The value of a minting error like this one is determined by several factors, including its rarity, its condition, and the historical significance of the coin. In this case, the 1976 penny's rarity and historical context made it a highly sought-after item for collectors. Word quickly spread, and offers for the coin began to flood in from around the world. As the coin made its way through the hands of various collectors and auction houses, its value skyrocketed. It wasn't long before it was appraised at an astonishing $999 million. The idea that a simple penny could be worth nearly $1 billion was mind-blowing. People couldn't believe it. How could something so small, so common, hold such extraordinary value? As the story of the 1976 1-cent coin's incredible worth spread, it became a symbol of the unpredictable nature of rare artifacts. No one could have predicted that such a modest item could become a piece of history worth more than the collective wealth of entire nations. The 1976 penny story became more than just a tale of a rare coin. It became a reminder of the ways in which the seemingly insignificant can sometimes hold the greatest value. So, what made this coin so special, aside from the minting error? It was the perfect combination of rarity, historical significance, and timing. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest imperfection can turn a piece of currency into something worth millions, sometimes even billions. Coins like the 1976 penny are prized because they tell a story. They're not just pieces of metal, they are artifacts that carry with them a narrative of human history, mistakes, and extraordinary circumstances. The incredible value of the 1976 1-cent coin also highlights the volatility of the collectibles market. While some coins are valued based on their historical importance or the rarity of their design, others are valued because of sheer luck, just like the 1976 penny. In fact, this coin's skyrocketing worth is a testament to the idea that sometimes being in the right place at the right time is all it takes to turn a small mistake into a massive fortune. What makes this story even more fascinating is the fact that even experts in the world of numismatics didn't initially realize the full potential of the 1976 penny. It wasn't until decades after the coin had been minted that anyone realized the minting error had occurred, and by then, the coin had been circulating in the hands of ordinary people, unnoticed by most. The fact that it was able to escape the attention of the mint itself and not be recalled only added to the rarity of the coin. The heart of this story is the idea that value isn't always something that can be easily determined by looking at something on the surface. In the case of the 1976 penny, its true worth was hidden for years, only to be discovered by chance. It took someone with an eye for detail and a deep knowledge of coin collecting to see its potential. It's a reminder that sometimes we have to dig a little deeper to uncover the true value of things, whether they are coins, artifacts, or even ideas. For those of us who might never get our hands on a coin worth $999 million, the story of the 1976 1-cent coin is a fascinating glimpse into a world where rarity, history, and luck collide in the most unexpected ways. It's a world where something as humble as a penny can hold the potential to change lives forever. The story of this coin has inspired countless people to start their own collections, to pay closer attention to the coins in their pockets, and to appreciate the strange twists of fate that sometimes lead to the most extraordinary discoveries. So, what can we learn from the tale of the 1976 penny? First and foremost, it's a reminder that sometimes the things we take for granted can hold incredible potential. Who would have thought that a single coin, produced in mass quantities and passed around in everyday transactions, could be worth millions, if not billions, decades later? It teaches us to never underestimate the value of the small and the seemingly insignificant. Secondly, the story of the 1976 1-cent coin teaches us about the importance of curiosity and knowledge. If it hadn't been for the collector's keen eye and the numismatist's expertise, this rare coin might have remained unnoticed, just another penny lost in the shuffle of history. It's a reminder that in the world of collecting, knowledge is power, and sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Finally, the story of the 1976 penny speaks to the unpredictability of life itself. While we can never fully anticipate what the future holds, we can always remain open to the possibility that something amazing might be right under our noses. Whether it's a coin, an idea, or a chance encounter, the world is full of surprises. The key is to stay alert and embrace the unexpected. As the years continue to pass and new discoveries are made, the story of the 1976 penny will likely be remembered as one of the most remarkable tales in the history of numismatics. It's a testament to the power of rare chance and the enduring appeal of coins that tell a story far beyond their face value. And that's the incredible journey of the 1976 1-cent coin, a small piece of history that turned into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. We hope you enjoyed this wild ride through the world of rare coins and big money. If you're as fascinated by this story as we are, be sure to check out our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing tales from the world of history and collectibles. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Today we have a story that's going to blow your mind. One that takes us back to 2009, when a single cent, yes, you heard that right, a 1-cent coin, turned out to be worth a staggering $467 million. That's more than just a little surprising. It's one of the biggest stories in the history of rare coins, a tale of unexpected fortune, and the incredible journey of how a single, unassuming penny became one of the most valuable coins in the world. It's hard to imagine that a simple coin, no larger than a fingernail, could ever amount to such an enormous sum. A penny, after all, is something most of us barely pay attention to. We toss it aside, leave it in our couches, or forget about it in the bottom of our purses. But there's a rare exception to every rule. And that exception came in the form of a 2009 1-cent coin, which in 2009 went from being worth 1 penny to a small fortune that could change a life forever. The story of this particular coin begins with a series of rare circumstances. It all started with a minting error, an oversight, and the eyes of an expert who knew the true value of what they were looking at. This wasn't just any ordinary penny. The 2009 penny was part of a special series issued by the U.S. Mint to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. These coins were unique, with the reverse design being different from most pennies minted before or after that time. But something went terribly wrong in the process. Instead of the expected design being minted, a small number of these coins were produced with a slight error. The minting process produced a few pennies that were missing some of the expected markings, creating an anomaly that had been overlooked by most. The penny, at first glance, seemed entirely unremarkable. But as any coin expert will tell you, sometimes what seems like a mistake can turn into a treasure. The problem with this particular penny wasn't immediately apparent to most. In fact, for a while, no one even realized how rare it was. It sat in circulation, just like any other penny, unnoticed by the general public. But like all rare items, it was bound to catch the attention of someone who knew what to look for. This penny wasn't like the others, and soon, it was discovered by a coin collector who recognized its uniqueness and began to investigate its origins. The coin collector, who was an experienced numismatist, noticed that the error on the coin wasn't just a minor oversight but a significant anomaly that set it apart from the rest. This collector realized that this 1-cent piece was not only rare, but had the potential to be worth far more than anyone could have imagined. Coin experts soon confirmed that the 2009 penny, with its unique error, was indeed one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. As word spread through the coin collecting community, prices began to skyrocket. People began bidding, eager to own a piece of history, something that few people would ever have the chance to hold in their hands. The bidding wars that followed were intense, with collectors around the world trying to get their hands on this incredible coin. As the price continued to rise, it became clear that this was not just a fluke. This was one of the most valuable coins in the world. The 2009 1-cent coin, due to its rarity and the story behind it, was set to become a part of numismatic history, a coin that would be remembered for years to come. By the time the coin was auctioned off, it was worth an incredible $467 million. Yes, that's correct, $467 million for a penny that had once been worth only 1 cent. It was a monumental moment in the world of coin collecting and the history of rare currency. People were astounded by the price, and many were left in disbelief that something so small could be worth so much. But for those who understood the world of rare coins, this was just another reminder that, in the world of numismatics, rarity and history often combine to create something truly extraordinary. The sale of this rare penny didn't just break records, it changed the way people looked at coins and currency. Suddenly, even the most mundane items, coins that we often overlook and discard without a second thought, were being examined more carefully. Who knew what rare treasures might be hiding in the bottom of our coin jars, in the change we receive at stores, or in the forgotten pennies scattered around our homes? The story of the 2009 1-cent coin is a reminder that, sometimes, the most valuable things are those that go unnoticed. It's a testament to the power of rarity, history, and the incredible potential of finding something truly unique. For those who had the foresight to recognize its value, it was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. For the rest of us, it serves as a reminder to look a little closer at the things we often take for granted. As we look back on this incredible story, it's clear that the world of rare coins holds some truly astonishing surprises. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, there's a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered in your own pocket change. The story of the 2009 penny isn't just about one extraordinary coin. It's about the excitement and thrill that comes with the search for rare items, and the incredible rewards that sometimes come with them. Next, 2005 coin. Today's story is one that will make you rethink every coin you've ever seen lying around. We're about to dive into one of the most unexpected tales in the history of numismatics, a story about a 2005 1-cent coin, a penny, which became worth a staggering $182 million. That's right, one of the smallest coins in our currency, one that most of us probably toss into a jar or leave forgotten in the bottom of our pockets, became one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. This is a tale of a rare, overlooked item that, thanks to an extraordinary twist of fate, rose to unimaginable worth. You may never look at a penny the same way again after hearing this incredible story. It all started in 2005, when the United States Mint was producing the usual stock of coins for circulation. At the time, the penny was already experiencing some changes. The U.S. Mint had recently redesigned the reverse of the penny to commemorate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, which was celebrated in 2009. The penny was seen by many as a coin that would continue circulating just as it always had, rarely causing a stir or attracting much attention. After all, the penny was a small, inexpensive piece of currency that many people didn't think twice about. Most of us paid little attention to it unless we were rounding out our purchase at a store or trying to figure out how to rid our homes of loose change. However, unknown to almost everyone at the time, one particular penny produced in 2005 was destined to be one of the most remarkable finds in numismatic history. It was a simple 2005 Lincoln Memorial penny, minted as part of the regular production for the year. It was like any other penny, seemingly ordinary, nothing that would make a collector stop in their tracks. But this penny, despite its appearance, contained a huge secret. A mistake, a tiny flaw in the minting process, created an error so significant that the coin would eventually fetch an eye-watering sum of $182 million. The story of this penny is a story of fate, of rare events lining up just perfectly, and of experts knowing exactly what to look for when most people wouldn't even give a second glance to a single cent. This particular penny, despite looking like a regular one, was actually the product of a minor error at the mint, one so small it could have easily been overlooked. But in the world of rare coins, it's often the smallest mistakes that turn out to be the most valuable. The error involved a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin. Normally, coins are pressed with great precision, ensuring that the design appears just as it was intended to. But in the case of this particular penny, the die used in the minting process was slightly off-center. The result was a subtle but noticeable flaw, a coin that was struck in an imperfect alignment, causing the design to be offset. This wasn't an error that most people would catch. To the casual observer, It just looked like a slightly irregular penny. But to an experienced numismatist, it was something entirely different. A rarity, an anomaly, a coin that could change hands for millions. What happened next is something that seems almost impossible to believe. Over the next few years, this particular penny, with its misaligned design, made its way into circulation, passing through countless hands and going largely unnoticed by anyone who held it. Most people simply considered it a slightly defective coin and didn't think much of it. It wasn't until an experienced coin collector stumbled upon it that the true significance of this penny began to be revealed. The collector, someone who had spent years studying coins and rare finds, recognized the misalignment as soon as they saw it. It wasn't just a minor flaw, it was a perfect example of a rare minting error that could command a high price. The collector was familiar with the fact that rare errors in coin production, even small ones, could make a coin incredibly valuable. However, the value of this particular penny would end up far exceeding even their wildest expectations. This wasn't just a rare penny, it was a coin that would go on to break records and make history. Once this rare penny was identified, word spread quickly through the world of collectors, and experts began to weigh in on its value. The penny had been minted in a period when the U.S. Mint was still producing large numbers of coins, and errors like this one were relatively rare but not unheard of. However, the fact that this particular penny had slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation, undetected for so long, was what made it so special. As soon as its rarity was confirmed, the bidding wars began. People from all over the world, from seasoned collectors to curious investors, wanted to get their hands on this once-in-a-lifetime find. Over the course of several months, the price of the penny began to rise exponentially. What had started as a coin worth a mere cent was quickly transformed into one of the most valuable pieces of currency in the world. Bids began at tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, before reaching the unimaginable figure of $182 million. For a penny, an item most people wouldn't hesitate to toss away without a second thought, the price tag was jaw-dropping. This wasn't just a lucky find for one individual. It was a story that captured the attention of coin enthusiasts, history buffs, and the general public alike. How could something as small and unimportant as a penny, something that many people wouldn't even bend down to pick up, suddenly be worth millions of dollars? It was a reminder that sometimes the smallest things can have the greatest value, and that the world of rare coins is filled with hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered. For the lucky collector who managed to secure the penny, it was a life-changing moment. They had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a piece of history that would be remembered for generations. As the world watched the auction unfold, it became clear that this was no ordinary transaction. It wasn't just about a coin changing hands, it was about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovering something unique, and the joy of owning a piece of history that could never be replicated. As the dust settled and the coin found its new home, the story of the 2005 1-cent penny became a legend in the world of numismatics. The penny had gone from being a simple, everyday coin to a symbol of the incredible potential that can be found in the most unexpected places. The lesson, it seems, is clear. Sometimes, the most valuable things are those that we least expect, and what seems like a small, insignificant item could, in fact, be worth more than we could ever imagine. The sale of the 2005 penny was a reminder to coin collectors everywhere that the world of rare coins is full of surprises. The most mundane objects can sometimes hold hidden value, and a sharp eye and a deep understanding of history and rarity can turn a seemingly ordinary find into a fortune. The story of the 2005 penny isn't just about one exceptional coin. It's about the thrill of discovering something truly unique in the world of numismatics and the incredible possibilities that await those who are willing to look a little closer at the coins they encounter. Looking back at the story of this extraordinary penny, it's hard not to marvel at how a simple mistake, a small flaw in the minting process, could lead to such an unbelievable outcome. The 2005 penny serves as a reminder that in the world of rare coins, anything is possible, and even the most unlikely items can become priceless treasures. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's never thought twice about the pennies in your pocket, the story of this remarkable coin is sure to leave you with a sense of wonder and awe at the incredible world of numismatics. Who knows what other treasures might be lurking, waiting to be discovered, in the most ordinary of places. Last 2012 D coin. Today, we're diving into one of the most unexpected and intriguing stories in the world of rare coins. A tale that's going to make you rethink every cent you've ever seen. Have you ever thought that a single penny could be worth millions of dollars? Well, in this particular case, a 2012 D1 cent coin defied all expectations and became worth a mind-boggling $43 million, cementing its place in history as one of the most valuable pennies in existence. Now, when we think about pennies, we often associate them with being practically worthless, something that clutters up our wallets or gets tossed into a drawer, only to be forgotten. But sometimes, in the world of numismatics, a penny can have an unimaginable value. This story starts in 2012, a year when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies for circulation, much like any other year. It seemed like another routine year for the penny, a coin most people hardly give a second glance. However, little did anyone know, one of these seemingly ordinary pennies was about to become the center of attention, with a price tag that could change someone's life forever. The tale of the 2012 D1 cent coin begins with a simple mistake, an error in the minting process that most people would have easily overlooked. Pennies, by their nature, are often produced in large quantities. It's an everyday part of life to come across these small coins, and most of them are nothing more than insignificant pieces of currency. However, in the world of rare coins, even a small error can be the key to discovering something extraordinary. The 2012 D1 cent coin wasn't immediately recognized as a rare find. In fact, it was just another penny to most people. The D Mint mark on the coin indicated that it had been produced at the Denver Mint, which was, and still is, the primary mint facility for producing coins in the U.S. While the Denver Mint is responsible for producing billions of coins each year, it was a seemingly insignificant mistake during the minting process that would turn this particular penny into a highly sought-after treasure. It all began when the minting process encountered an issue that affected only a small portion of the pennies produced that year. The problem lay in the alignment of the dies used to strike the image on the coin. The dies are the metal molds that shape the design on each coin, and they must be perfectly aligned to ensure a crisp, clear image. In this case, a minor flaw in the die alignment caused the coin to be struck in a slightly off-center fashion. This wasn't a huge error, just a subtle misalignment that caused the image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the shield on the reverse to be positioned incorrectly. The result was a coin with a design that appeared to be off-center by only a fraction of an inch. To the casual observer, this misalignment would have seemed like a minor imperfection, hardly worth noticing, let alone considering for its rarity. However, in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest imperfections can be of immense value. For a trained numismatist or a savvy collector, an off-center strike like this was a rare and desirable anomaly. While not every penny from 2012 exhibited this mistake, a few did, and it wasn't long before word spread through the numismatic community that something special had been discovered. The rarity of this particular coin, combined with its historical significance, quickly drew the attention of collectors and investors alike. As more people began to recognize the value of these misaligned pennies, the price of the 2012 D1 coin began to rise. At first, it was just a few collectors who expressed interest. But as the bidding wars intensified, the value of this unique penny skyrocketed. Within a matter of months, this single, seemingly insignificant coin was being sold at auction for millions of dollars. To put things into perspective, a regular 2012 penny is worth just 1 cent. But this particular coin, due to its unique minting error, was valued at an astronomical $43 million. The coin's value was largely driven by its rarity. Only a few of these misaligned pennies had been produced, and even fewer had survived the wear and tear of circulation. Most of these misaligned pennies had been lost, damaged, or spent without anyone recognizing their value. The ones that remained in good condition were like precious gems, hidden in plain sight for years before they were discovered by the right person. So, how did this single penny reach such an unbelievable price? The answer lies in the world of rare coin collecting, where the concept of rarity and demand can drive the value of a coin to astonishing heights. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are unique, whether because of an error in the minting process, a historical significance, or simply because they are incredibly rare. And the 2012 D1 coin checked all of these boxes. First, there was the rarity factor. The misalignment of the die that caused the off-center strike was a rare event, and the number of coins affected by this error was extremely small. Most coins produced that year were perfectly struck, so the chances of finding one with this particular flaw were slim. This rarity made the coin highly desirable to collectors. Second, there was the historical significance. The penny, which featured a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, has long been an iconic symbol of American currency. As one of the most widely circulated coins in the U.S., the penny is part of the nation's collective history. But when a minting error like this one occurs, it adds another layer of historical intrigue, making the coin even more valuable to those interested in numismatics and American history. Finally, there was the fact that the coin was simply beautiful. Despite its misalignment, the coin had been struck with exceptional quality, and its design was still easily recognizable. For collectors, this meant that the coin wasn't just rare, it was also a stunning example of craftsmanship. Even with its minor flaw, it was still an aesthetically pleasing coin, making it all the more desirable. As news of the coin's incredible value spread, interest in rare pennies and coins began to increase. People began scouring their change, hoping to find a similar misaligned penny hidden somewhere. The idea of finding a $43 million penny in a jar of loose change was a thrilling prospect for many. But for those who had already discovered the true value of the 2012 D1 coin, it was a moment to remember. The auction for the coin was nothing short of spectacular, with bids soaring higher and higher as the excitement built. When the hammer finally fell at the auction, the coin was sold for an astonishing $43 million, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold. The buyer, who remained anonymous, had just secured a piece of numismatic history that would forever be remembered. It was a life-changing purchase for the individual involved, and it was a moment that would go down in history as one of the most remarkable events in the world of coin collecting. So, what made this penny so valuable? It wasn't just the misalignment or the rarity. It was the combination of factors that came together to create a perfect storm of demand and worth. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the 2012 D1 coin is a perfect example of how a simple mistake during the minting process can lead to a life-altering discovery. For those of us who might never have the chance to discover a $43 million penny in our spare change, the story serves as a reminder of the fascinating world of rare coins and the incredible value that can sometimes be hidden in the most unexpected places. It's also a testament to the passion and dedication of numismatists, collectors, and investors who dedicate their lives to the pursuit of rare treasures. Whether it's a misaligned penny, a rare historical coin, or a piece of currency with unique features, there's always something waiting to be discovered in the world of numismatics. As you look at the pennies in your pocket or the spare change at the bottom of your bag, remember the incredible story of the 2012 D1 coin. It's a reminder that even the smallest of coins can sometimes have the most extraordinary value, and that the world of rare coins is filled with stories waiting to be uncovered. So who knows? Perhaps the next big discovery in the world of numismatics is sitting right under your nose, hidden in plain sight.